morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It's your friendly neighborhood Snowdrift here. And in a previous video, I stated that I wanted to start making more videos with the truck. And, you know, I was going to start doing those videos next year. So just real fast, let's run through all the issues with the truck right now. You guys probably have seen, or you can go back and look on the channel where I have replaced the AC compressor. That was fun. I hope that never happens again. Wasn't that bad. Honestly, you know, I would do it again if I had to. And I feel a lot more confident about it now, obviously. But you know, I've replaced all kinds of stuff in cars and trucks before. It's not a big deal. It's just the thing about when it comes to like the RSX, which we're in right now, which is honestly, you know, that's going to come into play here in a little bit. But when it comes to the RSX, when I do stuff to it, it's upgrades, and I enjoy, you know, being the car guy that I am, I enjoy working on the car when it's, you know, upgrades. But general maintenance is boring. It is so utterly boring. I mean, changing oil, yeah, not a big deal, but whenever you get like whenever your AC compressor goes out, or whenever you have a nail in your tire, or whenever you your alternator goes out, your battery, a CV axle breaks, something like that, you know, whenever something that is supposed to just work just falls apart, it's super duper annoying. And I hate doing general maintenance stuff like that, like brakes. I mean, I like the way the truck and the cars feel after I do a brake job, but I hate doing brake jobs. I've gotten really good at them over the years, but I mean, I feel like any man needs to know how to do a brake job and change oil and you know, grease a bearing and you know, change your diff fluid, change all the fluids in your vehicle. Actually, doesn't matter what kind it is. I feel like any man should know how to do that. It's not that hard. When it comes to the truck though, that vehicle, we bought that truck as a, this is it. Like if shit were to hit the fan today, 5 minutes ago, whatever, we jump in the truck, that's gonna be it. That's our end of the world vehicle. It can carry my entire family. It's got a lot of room. We can put a lot of materials in there, a lot of supplies, guns, medical supplies, anything, you name it, we can do it all. It's got a big bed, it's 4-wheel drive, it's a V8, it's got a good rear end in it, all that stuff. But some of you are getting ahead of me, probably. But what it boils down to is that right now we can't do that. So I really wish this radio would stop rattling. I'm about to throw this radio out the window. So what's wrong with the truck right now? What's every issue with the truck right now? Right now it's dirty. Like, it is super filthy. And I find that, you know, whenever a vehicle is kind of been neglected as far as its cosmetic is concerned, after a while, it makes you you tend to just care less and less about it. And I feel like that's true for a lot of people. And so, you know, it's not that I don't enjoy washing vehicles, it's just I find it hard to have time to wash vehicles these days. You know, I keep the RSX pretty clean. You know, I try to keep the MDX as clean as possible for Kinsey, and that's what we haul Emery in most of the time. But when it comes to the truck, you know, that's a truck that I hunt in. We haul motorcycles. It's kind of just the grunt work. It's a workhorse, and so that's like the last thing on my mind is keeping it clean. But I also feel like that if I were to put a little effort into keeping it clean, then I probably would feel better about, you know, having to do a little bit of maintenance on it. And I'm not making this video saying that I slack on general maintenance. Like, if something needs to be done, you can ask my wife. I'm usually the first one to jump on it. Like whenever we had to do a brake job on that thing, we had to I bought new brake pads, new rotors, the whole 9 yards for the truck. You know, I swapped out the brake fluid because it had probably never been changed, and that was like a, you know, almost a $200 job. And so brakes start squeaking, or they start fading or getting a little spongy, or the rotors are warped or whatever, I was like, we need to do this now. And so even though it sucked, and that's another thing that sucks about doing general maintenance, is that it cuts into other things. You know what I mean? Like, you should always have money saved up for stuff that goes wrong with vehicles, because in my life, you know, in my previous work experience, I can tell you one thing for certain, and that is that a vehicle never breaks down at a convenient time, ever. It will not. So with that being said, what else is wrong with the truck? Well, it's a 2014. It's got the little satellite radio shark fin antenna, and it leaks. Here's the thing though about that, it doesn't leak consistently. It hasn't been such an issue that I have been pushed to, you know, mess with it. But now it's leaking consistently. I wash the truck, it leaks. It's foggy outside, it leaks. You know, it's almost like you know, it's gone now. It's just a hole in the roof pretty much. So good news is I have a shark fin on the way. And another thing, I think I mentioned this in a previous video too, that the reason I haven't done it is because I couldn't find the right part number. Found the right part number, I think. It's on the way. It'll be here like tomorrow. So I'm going to get that swapped out this weekend. Let's see, what else? A couple of spots, not even really on the outside, not really on the body, but there's a couple spots that definitely could use some touch-up paint. So I'm going to get some touch-up paint and just touch up some areas. I'm not really good with touch-up paint, but honestly, you know, the actual factory paint color looks better than like just a bare metal spot. I'll show you guys those problem areas here and there. Last big thing, regardless of all the issues that I have with the truck, all the problems that it has, it's always ran reliably. Like, I felt like I could drive this thing anywhere from here to California and back, no problem. You know, I hate the active fuel management mode where it goes into 4-cylinder mode, and I've got you know, future plans to get rid of that. You know, I was looking at tires for this truck. You know, like, this coming year, 2021, was going to be the year of the Silverado, you know what I mean? And so you know, I was going to get tires. I was possibly looking at some wheels. The engine's running great though. It doesn't have any lifter ticks or anything weird like that. I was going to do probably some performance upgrades, do like an air filter or something, and just, you know, a few odd and end things here and there. You know, I was going to do some cosmetic things, and, you know, not to take away from the RSX build, but just to give the truck a little bit of love, you know what I mean? Because it needs tires, it needs that satellite fin thing fixed. The other day, when I was on my way up to pick up the K24 from the machine shop, it started acting funny, and I could not put my finger on what it was. I even made a short little video about it. Transmission fluid wasn't low. It was super clean, actually. Looked like it had, you know, been changed pretty recently, and you know, it could shift fine, go into each gear fine. There was no issue really, and I started thinking, well, maybe it needs spark plugs. I've never changed the spark plugs in this thing, and we've put about 30-ish thousand miles on it, maybe a little bit more since we bought it like 3-4 years ago. And so I'm just thinking, like, what could possibly be going on with this thing? I did a little bit of research, and I believe I have found the culprit of the problem. Torque converter's going out. Not a big deal, honestly. Like, I was a little bit, you know, pissed off about it at first, because I was just like, oh my god. Like, I mean, I've replaced torque converters before. It's honestly a little bit easier than replacing the clutch in a car, but I'll tell you what, I would rather replace the clutch in the RSX tonight than replace the torque converter in the truck at any moment, because, you know, just the fact of breaking the seal on the truck and getting in there, and you know, it's not a hard job. It's just a really time-consuming job, and you know, like I said earlier, it's money that I wish we didn't have to spend, because torque converters can range anywhere between like $300 to like $600, depending on what kind of torque converter you want to get. Odds are I'm going to go with like a factory OEM torque converter, if I end up replacing it, I'm going to try a couple things first. I'm going to change the oil, change the filter in the transmission, see if that may help get us along a little bit. But I'm pretty sure, I don't know a lot about torque converters. I like manual transmission cars. You know, they're just, to me, they're simpler and easier to diagnose and less susceptible to issues like this. And so, with that being said, you know, I'm going to try, you know, changing the filter, changing the oil, flushing the system a couple of times, because the way I see it is that in order to change the torque converter, I have to do that anyway. You need to flush the ATF out a couple of times. I think, like, you know, you need to do it like 3 or 4 times to make sure you get all the old, you know, bits out of there, like from the clutches inside of the torque converter, you know. So anyway, yeah, I think that's going to be what we're going to end up doing. I feel like that when we start working on something, the first thing we ought to do is clean it.
All right, let me turn this heater down a little bit so you guys can hear me. And let me throw that on so that way this thing ain't beeping. Okay, so got the truck washed up, And the reason I did that was you know, it really needed it super bad. But I feel like before I start, you know, working really hard on something, I should probably start with a clean canvas, you know what I mean? You know, that way dirt and debris doesn't get into places that it shouldn't go. So hopefully tomorrow or maybe even Saturday, that the satellite antenna shark fin thing that these things come with, hopefully it'll be here, and I can get that done. And I've been reading on the forums a little bit more about these the Z71 Silverados with the 5.3. This has a 6-speed in it, and apparently you can do a transmission flush, which, I mean, like I said earlier, that's what I was planning on doing anyway. So you can do a transmission flush, and sometimes that will help with the torque converter vibration. A lot of people, you know, kind of describe it as running over rumble strips on a highway, and that is exactly what it sounds like. To a T, that is what it sounds like. So, with that being said, I'm going to flush the fluid a couple times. I'm going to flush it once with the old filter, and then I'm going to flush it again, and on that second flush I'm going to put a new filter in it. I'm going to get all that stuff ordered this coming week, and then I'm gonna, you know, with the new filter in there, I'm gonna fill it back up, flush it one more time, and then I'm just gonna leave that filter in there and then fill it all the way back up with new fluid. So 3 to 4 flushes with the same fluid, which really sucks because the fluid, it's not exactly cheap, but it's not like, I mean, it's not cheap enough to just be kind of, you know, pushing it through the truck. But I mean, I'll do whatever I got to do to make this thing run better. So I've heard that some people have success with that, some people don't. But you know, like I said, push comes to shove, I'm just going to throw a new torque converter in this thing, and I don't want to throw a new torque converter in this thing and not have already flushed the fluid at least 3 to 4 times. So when we throw the new torque converter in here, you know, it'll have another flush of fresh fluid, and then I'll feel really good about it. And we shouldn't have any more issues out of this thing. Fingers crossed. I'm probably going to do something about the active fuel management, or AFM. I'm going to get that tuned out or something like that. May even get the whole truck updated. You know, there's a update that people are doing with the transmission shift points, so makes it run better. And just got a lot of big plans for the truck. Tires, I can't wait to put new tires on this thing. You know, the tires that are on here have been great. They've been to the Dragon a couple times. I've put, you know, several thousand miles on them, tens of thousands of miles on these tires. Toyo Open Countries, really nice. They're the HTs, and they have a 114 tread wear, I think is what they are. Don't know if that's what came on this thing or what, but I'm kind of torn between 2 different sets of tires. But anyway, we'll talk about that more in a different video. So with all that being said, you guys, the truck is still drivable, which is great. And the only thing is that, you know, this is how I pick up my daughter and carry her from place to place, you know, safely. Can't really do that in the RSX. So, you know, it just kind of gets on my nerves a little bit. But I mean, you know, I want to get it fixed. I wish it hadn't broken in the first place, or, you know, I started acting up the way it is, but I definitely want to get it fixed as soon as possible. So hopefully this will be one of the last times I have to drive it before I get the fluid in, and then we'll go from there. But until then, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got some kind of entertainment out of it, and maybe this video will help somebody at some point. So thank you guys again. Share my videos with your dog, eat your vegetables, tip your waitresses. Bye.